The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. W's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by W, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. W's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. W Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. This is Mike Tipton from Tipton Sports Broadcasting, inviting you to join us on Tuesday, June 10th at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso for all-you-can-eat wings. As a big fat guy, you know I'm going to be stuffing my face, so why not join me and Brandon the Iceman Cone for all-you-can-eat wings? Be sure to tune in to Fire and Ice every Saturday as we talk sports or anything else that might come to mind. At B-Dubs, enjoy the $4 house beer Wild Herd, $5 Bud Lights, and $6 Voodoo Rangers. And take advantage of their $4 Fireball shots.
Fireball.
Happy hour is Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Be sure to try the delicious new sandwiches like the beer cheese, cheesesteak, and chicken parm melt. Plus, all-you-can-eat wings Monday through Thursday until June 26th. $24.99 for bone-in wings, $19.99 for boneless wings, and the fries are included. All you can eat bone-in and boneless wings Monday through Thursday, and Fire and Ice every Saturday at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. Good morning. It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, LinkedIn, all over the place, and of course on Roku with National Streaming Sports. Shout out to TGI Sports that was on just before we were here on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. Shout out to Simply Mandy who joined in over on Instagram, Larside1 and DTM Hershey all over there on Instagram. Our guy Tommy Cananza saying good morning, Tip. Good morning to you, Tommy. Hope that you're having yourself a fantastic day. Yesterday I said I don't care about the NFL schedule as we get closer and closer to the NFL schedule release. And then I was given the information about the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love that Thanksgiving Day game. And I am going to be terrified, absolutely terrified during that Thanksgiving Day game. Like, I always want to try to go to Dallas for that Thanksgiving Day game. And it just, I don't know. There's something about the Kansas City Chiefs that makes me not want to go to that game. But you know what? I have faith in our Dallas Cowboys, Tommy. I 100% have faith in our Dallas Cowboys, Mireya. I see that you're there watching as well. I have faith in our team that it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Tommy Cananza saying, damn it, Thanksgiving is ruined this year. We're already 6 months out, and we can already tell that Thanksgiving is going to be ruined because the Dallas Cowboys have to face off against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't care if this Kansas City Chiefs team doesn't have the names at wide receiver like everyone wants them to have, but Jesus Christ, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, and they still terrify me. They absolutely terrify me. Maybe, though. Maybe, just maybe. I'm holding out hope. Tommy, you already know how it is. We've turned a new leaf. I've turned a new leaf with that George Pickens trade. I am optimistic. I shouldn't be optimistic because they still have a rookie head coach. They have Matt Eberflus as their defensive coordinator, and we saw what he did in Chicago as a head coach. I am cautiously optimistic with the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm calling it right now. They win this damn game. They win. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Dallas on Thanksgiving. They don't ruin Thanksgiving. There we go. Tommy Conant saying, F it, Mike. We're going undefeated after Thanksgiving. The Dallas Cowboys, a second-half team. There we go. I'm good with that. You know what, Tommy? I'm good with that. We're going to be super optimistic with this Dallas Cowboys team. The NFL schedule release are going to have all of that coming out a little bit later on today. You finally get to see who's playing where. I might have had it wrong yesterday. I'm assuming just based off of Dallas playing Kansas City that their alternate division might be the AFC West, but I feel like they played the AFC West just a couple of years ago. So I'm wondering about that right now. I might have been wrong. The Minnesota Vikings will become the first team in NFL history to play consecutive international games in different countries this season. They will play the Pittsburgh Steelers on September 28th in Dublin, Ireland, and then they will go to England and play against Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against the Cleveland Browns. The Vikings becoming the first team that plays back-to-back games overseas. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like a part of that is cool, and then another part of that just seems like, I don't know. Seems like it might cause problems in the future. I know that there's always the rumblings out there about the NFL having like a European division, which is why they're doing so many games in Europe now. Can you imagine that, though? You get like a 4-game road trip through Europe. Would be fun games, though. Hanging out at some of those games. That would be fun. In the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals look like they're in trouble as Trey Hendrickson is saying he's not going to play on the deal that he currently has with them right now. We were talking about this yesterday in a group chat. And, there's times where I hate group chats just because you get 40 different messages and none of them pertain to the conversation. And sometimes you get that one message that triggers you, kind of like people telling me the San Antonio Spurs don't have a bright future, which is one of the dumbest GD things I have ever seen or read. Clearly someone doesn't watch basketball and then wants to try to talk basketball. Nonetheless, the Spurs don't have a bright future, guys. Putting it out there right now. But Trey Hendrickson saying that he won't play on this deal for the Bengals. And people were talking about how the Bengals are a terrible franchise because they don't go around paying their players. But they're in this predicament right now because they paid so much to Joe Burrow. They paid so much to T. Higgins. They paid so much to Jamar Chase that now they don't have the ability to pay Trey Hendrickson what he wants. Remember, he wanted a brand new contract at the end of the season. I am trying to see what his current contract deal is right now. And for some reason, it's not in this article, which is a weird thing not to have in an article. And obviously, it would behoove the Bengals to sign him to another deal. Maybe not a max deal or anything like that, but you might want to have him locked up for the next couple of seasons. So you're going to have to find a way to restructure some deals, do something like that if you're the Cincinnati Bengals in order to get this done, because right now you're paying him $15.8 million. He gets a $2.6 million signing bonus. And then after that, he's an unrestricted free agent this upcoming season. If you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you already have issues on defense. You can't lose someone like Trey Hendrickson. But if I'm not mistaken, and then now I got to go over to this, I probably should have had this up by the time that I got here, but we're going to look at salary cap, and we're going to see where the Cincinnati Bengals are salary cap-wise. And they're kind of middle of the road. They have $27 million left in salary cap that they can spend right now. But you got to remember, you have to break down that $27 million in rookie deals that need to be signed for all your draft picks. So they'll have more than likely around maybe $15, $13 million in additional salary cap. Would that be enough? Like just allocating all of that to Trey Hendrickson, getting him instead of $15 million, he gets closer to $30 million. Would that be enough to make Trey Hendrickson happy? And then you got to worry about next season and all the stuff that goes along with that. I wonder if the salary cap tracker gives me next season as well. It does. And next season, the Cincinnati Bengals will have $68 million that they can mess around with. So with me, I don't see what the problem is here. I don't see what the holdup is here with the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, that $68 million is going to have to be broken down with the way that you have your rookie contracts, things like that, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, again, I don't have a good defense. If I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, I look and see where I was defensively this past season. And the biggest issue that I have if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals is the fact that I had a historic offense. Joe Burrow could have been the MVP. He was one of the best offensive players in the NFL this season without T. Higgins. We're going to have a dynamic offense, but we have nothing on defense. To me, the Cincinnati Bengals are in trouble. And it feels weird to say this, that their window might have already closed, but it feels like that window is closed with them because we saw them make a Super Bowl, and we haven't seen them do anything of real note since. And I know some people are going to be like, Tip, they made it to a Super Bowl. They went to an AFC Championship game. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They've done this, that, and the other. Yeah, but that was all in one season. What have they done since that Super Bowl season? And they haven't done jack squat since then. They've missed the playoffs multiple times since then. Last year, they went on a hell of a run just to miss the playoffs by a single game because of bad coaching decisions, because of bad just team management and things of that nature. The Cincinnati Bengals, to me, aren't a good team. They're not. They're again, and I know I got raked over the coals for this one, but I don't believe that the Cincinnati Bengals are better than the Dallas Cowboys, just like I don't believe that Joe Burrow is incrementally better than Dak Prescott is. I genuinely believe that. I am a genuine, firm believer in that. The Cincinnati Bengals need to get Trey Hendrickson signed. He shows up to camp, he's just in a t-shirt, hanging out, not doing any of the stuff that he needs to do. Now, obviously, these guys have been in the NFL for a long time. They don't need to go to OTAs. They don't need to do all that stuff. Like, you'd like to see him there, maybe, but you can believe someone like Trey Hendrickson is going to be in football shape no matter what. Like he takes care of his body. He's always going to be where you need him to be. But it's just one of those things where you kind of wonder what the hell is going on with Cincinnati. not getting this deal done? Like, you have to find a way to get this deal done. Or why haven't you traded him yet? Like if you're not going to re-sign him, why haven't you traded him yet? Why haven't you reached out to other NFL teams and been like, look, we'll give us some draft picks, we'll go on our happy little way. Like to me, you can't just be in purgatory like this. You don't hear this coming out of Dallas with Micah Parsons, and that's because I believe a deal has already been struck in Dallas. Could you imagine what it would be like if this is how it was in Dallas? If the Dallas Cowboys were the team that was dealing around with all of the nonsense right now, like if Micah Parsons had gone around telling people, like, I'm not going to play on this deal. Could you imagine the noise that would be out of Dallas in that case? Tommy Canasta saying, I'll take Hendrickson in Dallas. Shit. I agree with you. I like Hendrickson being in Dallas would be fantastic. It would be one of those things that helps solidify their defense. But the Dallas Cowboys defense to me right now is solid. Like I like where the Dallas Cowboys are. As weird as that sounds, because I know I was super pessimistic about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to go back to looking at what all the different positions are on the Dallas Cowboys, like who they got. I search up way too many things about the Dallas Cowboys. You look at 2026 with the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to have $21 million in cap space. Like I said, they got one guy, one contract that's going to expire in 2026. That's Donovan Wilson. But you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Dak Prescott, Tyler Smith, Osa Odigizua, Trayvon Diggs, Terrence Steele, Zach Martin, Malik Hooker, Tyler Booker, Kevontae Turpin. Like you've got who you want to have locked up if you're the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to look at the Dallas Cowboys defensive line right now. You got Osi, Mozzie Smith, Solomon Thomas. Once again, I think that was a solid enough pick. The linebacking core, you're going to get DeMarvion Overshown probably back at the end of this season, so that'll be a good boost for the Dallas Cowboys at the end of the season. Micah Parsons, you got like the Dallas Cowboys have enough weapons on defense. Obviously with Bland, obviously with Diggs, if they can get back to just even 70% of what they were, where they led the NFL in interceptions in back-to-back seasons. If you can get pressure on the quarterback, which is what Dallas is going all in on, right? Dallas wants to be able to have a good defensive line, solid enough that you can't really run on, physical enough that it goes right after the quarterback. That's what the Dallas Cowboys are focusing on in that aspect of their team. I like where the Dallas Cowboys are as a team. Defensively, offensively, especially getting that George Pickens pickup. That's a huge pickup for the Dallas Cowboys. I know a lot of people out there are going to be like, Tip, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that that's a huge pickup. It's a big pickup for the Dallas Cowboys. It genuinely is. It helps balance out that team. I'm missing some people on this roster, so I want to look at the whole roster. Going to have to go to ESPN. Okay, on the defensive side, you're going to have Dante Fowler. Forgot that they re-signed Dante Fowler. You got Mozzie Smith, Osa Odigizua, Micah Parsons. Solomon Thomas is going to be there to help you out with defensive line depth. D-Easy, who they just drafted as well. Donovan Ezuraku. I keep messing up the R and the K. Ezuraku. Like the Dallas Cowboys are going to have a solid enough team. And that's what Tommy's saying. Eberflus doesn't really blitz. He wants to get pressure with four-man fronts. And with what the Dallas Cowboys have right now at the four-man front, I think that they would be okay. I think that you could put Dante Fowler in if you take Mozzie Smith out. If you put Solomon Thomas in on the defensive line, I think that you'll be okay if you're the Dallas Cowboys. Especially whenever Donovan, as Iraku starts getting in on his own, right? Like whenever he starts being better, and you can do that. It's just, I believe in the depth that the Dallas Cowboys have. I genuinely do. And I understand why a lot of people would be like, no, Tip, you can't believe in the depth that this team has. They're just the Dallas Cowboys. Look how bad they were last year on defense. There were so many injuries on defense. Right? Like obviously, you want to hope and pray that the Dallas Cowboys will be okay. Getting Kenneth Murray, I think that's okay for them. Jack Sanborn, I'm kind of questionable on that. DeMarvion Overshown, what's he going to be like? Is he going to be available at the beginning of the season? More than likely not. Your cornerbacks, Deron Bland, Trayvon Digg, Andrew Booth, who constantly got burnt last year. Like, who's going to be your nickel guy? You got Khair Elam is going to be your nickel back so far for the Dallas Cowboys. So I like more or less what I'm seeing from the Dallas Cowboys. Shout out to the people that tuned in over on Instagram. There's a lot of names there. They're over there and they look small, so it's hard for me to read because I'm getting old in my old age. I've got glasses on, but I think I got to get more. I think I got to get new glasses. I'm at that point in my life where no matter what I have, if I have glasses, I'm going to have new glasses. I'm an old man. And I think with that four-man front, Tommy, going back to what you said, that four-man front, I genuinely believe that the Dallas Cowboys will be able to get the pressure that they need to get. And if you look at it, they have enough depth, right? So they'll be able to keep a rotation. That's what you kind of need along your defensive line is a whole rotation of players that allows you to keep your defense fresh. Moving Micah Parsons around. He's going to be able to do whatever it is that you want Micah Parsons to be able to do. Line him up next to Odigizua, and that's going to be a fun time. That'll be hard for a defensive line. If you got him right next to Odigizua, they're moving Odigizua into the interior of the defensive line. The Cowboys are basically going to run a 4-3 defense, which is their base, right? 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and it's probably going to switch out on the linebacker core. You might have 2 with like your nickel package and cornerbacks and stuff like that, but their base is going to be a 4-3 type of defense. Parsons, Odigizua, I would put Fowler, and then I would put Ezuraiku. I'm going to get that name right one of these days. That would be your defensive front. And if you have the ability to, if DeMarvion Overshown comes back, you can even plug him in along the defensive line as well. I like what the Dallas Cowboys have, and I probably shouldn't. Because again, I think what the Dallas Cowboys' biggest issue is going to be along the coaching staff, right? Like I shouldn't be this pessimistic about the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff, but I just am. Tommy Kanata saying the defense has been upgraded for sure. I think Murray is going to be a sneaky good addition. He can get to the quarterback from anywhere. And that's the thing that I think too, like the Dallas Cowboys have been extremely active this offseason, which is something that we weren't used to seeing as Dallas Cowboys fans, but it's because the Dallas Cowboys didn't have a lot of money to be able to spend, right? With the retirements, with big contracts leaving the Dallas Cowboys, with being able to restructure and do all these other things like that, it allowed the Dallas Cowboys to go out there and be a little more aggressive, to trade a couple of the picks that they had, to get some depth along the defensive line, to get some depth along the linebacking core, to go out there in free agency and sign some guys to contracts that we're not used to seeing the Cowboys do, and then obviously to make a trade to bring in George Pickens as their number 2 wide receiver. When you look at what the Dallas Cowboys have along the offense, right? You got Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton, Tyler Booker, the Tylers, Terrence Steele, Cooper Beebe, which I thought was really good last year, his first year as a center. I thought he was really good. I'd like to see a little more depth along the offensive line, but I guess it's what you get with Awesome Richards, right? Robert Jones being there that they brought in as well. I'm being optimistic with the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. I think it could wind up being a problem if they have multiple injuries that will last a couple of weeks. That's why I think the Dallas Cowboys will have their biggest problem. Dak, obviously going to be your quarterback. Right now, the running back room is a little weird to me. Do you trust Javonte Williams? I like Miles Sanders, but he's never lived up to the expectations that I've had for him being on my multiple fantasy teams. I like Jaden Blue. I think that it's going to wind up being Jaden Blue's spot at some point this year. I don't think he's going to start as a starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys, but I think at some point this year, Jaden Blue will be the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Then obviously you got CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo, who I think still might be able to get you something. Jalen Brooks, like they have a halfway decent wide receiver core, especially with Josh Kelly, Texas Tech, major guy from Texas Tech. I got Tommy excited about him, and then the next day the Dallas Cowboys trade for George Pickens. Ruined the love we were given to Josh Kelly, who I think can be your 4th or 5th wide receiver. And I know that's not saying much, but that you need the possession guys like that in your wide receiving room. So I like what I see with the Dallas Cowboys at tight end, Jake Ferguson, Hunter Lepke at as their fullback and stuff like that. I like what I see out of the Dallas Cowboys on paper. But I've liked what I've seen out of the Dallas Cowboys on paper multiple times. And it's just so hard for me to fully give in. I'm looking up some stuff here. Going at the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff. Let's see who we got. Tommy Cananza saying that's the position that worries me. I don't know how I feel, or I don't feel like they have the bell cow. Like they need the bell cow back. Having a bad time reading today, Tommy. I apologize. I don't like these running back by committee ideas. It just hasn't worked here lately. And that's the biggest issue with the Dallas Cowboys is they've done a lot of things in the past that would make you kind of question whether or not this team is doing things the right way, or at least the way that you want them to do these things. I know I said we got a rookie head coach. We got a rookie head coach in Brian Schottenheimer, but he's been in the NFL for 24 years, right? He's been there for a while. Clayton Adams, your offensive coordinator, been in the NFL for 7 years. This is where the inexperience comes in. Wide receiver coach, Junior Adams, 1 year. Then you got a pass game specialist in Ken Dorsey. I'll never understand the love that Ken Dorsey gets. On the defensive side, your defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus. Yes, he's been in the NFL for 17 years. But, I mean, come on? Really? Maybe that's what it is, right? Maybe now's the time for Brian Schottenheimer, who's been in the NFL for 24 years. Maybe now's the time for him to say, okay, I can be your head coach. I can be the guy that you need me to be. But we saw what happened with that offense. Whenever he was the main offensive play caller for the Seattle Seahawks during the Let Russ Cook era. And during the Let Russ Cook era, it wasn't great football that was being played. It wasn't great offense that was being handled. Now, maybe just maybe, the Dallas Cowboys have somebody here that'll that'll make the offense be a little better. Tommy Cananza, I agree with you 100% on this one. I still think they're not utilizing Deuce Vaughn correctly. I think that little dude can be a weapon if they just use him right. I agree with you 100%. I can picture Deuce Vaughn, like they keep using him in this third down back role. I think if you had what they used to do with Zeke Elliott and Rico Dowdle, if you had the two running back set, you would be like Deuce Vaughn would be able to get lost back there, right? And you allow him to find the holes. Now the one thing is over the last couple of years, the Dallas Cowboys just haven't had a good run offense, right? Like their passing game has been great, but their running offense wasn't that great. Last year we saw them really start putting a focus on running the ball, and it became something that they could have been proud of. I want to see the Dallas Cowboys continue that. I want to see the Dallas Cowboys be a more balanced offense instead of a super pass-heavy offense. Tommy Cananza says, I don't know how they can have a 5'5" back try and run up the A-gap every time he touches the ball. Exactly. It should be running to the outside, utilizing that speed that he has. And then the occasional run up the A-gap because he can get lost behind those big, beefy men. We haven't even gotten to just the tip yet. Thank you for reminding me, Crooked Commish. We've been talking Dallas Cowboys and Matt Eberflus and all kinds of stuff. But I should have been talking about just the tip.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just the Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout. Save on all of your male grooming needs. Be on the lookout, Bolo, for the brand new full body deodorant. Guys, don't just get your pits, get the entirety of your body. Make sure that you are smelling good from head to toe to gooch and everywhere else with everything they have over at www.myhappynuts.com. All, and I mean all, of your male grooming needs with www.myhappynuts.com. The Crooked Commish giving Tommy Cananza a little bit of love, saying thanks for checking out the Chicago show last night. I got to check that out too some of these times. I have tuned in a couple of times, seeing your guys' stuff on YouTube. I've just been inundated, and I mean mainlining NBA playoffs left and right. I can't keep up this pace. I'm going to be so glad whenever the second round is done, because then I can have a couple of hours back to myself. These watching basketball games till like 11 o'clock at night, and then with me loving basketball the way that I love basketball, like I can't just come down. I wind up not falling asleep until like around 1 o'clock or so. Tommy Cananza saying, damn it, Tip, I was in line at 7-Eleven with about 6 people in back of me. I need to stop forgetting my earbuds. You should turn around. Tommy, we need to come up with shirts. Crooked Commish, I did check out your guy. He does some great work. So I'm going to be getting in contact with him about making some shirts for me. Tommy, we need to come up with like a proud Tippy shirt. Make it look very phallic-like. But you got to have just like, I'm a proud Tippy on your shirt. Tippy for life. Kind of like the NWO style, for life. The Tippy for life thing. You got to be proud of it, Tommy. Almost as proud of it as I am. But I've been mainlining the NBA. I spent the first half hour talking about the Dallas Cowboys, their salary cap issues, all kinds of stuff. Mike, please let him know I sent you. I got you, Crooked Commish. I wonder if he knows you as Crooked Commish or if he knows you by your government name. Tommy Kanata saying, I had the phone in my back pocket. I tried to act like it wasn't coming from me. You're one of those guys like, oh God, did you smell that? Did you smell that out there? Wow. I don't know what the hell happened to my screen there, but there we go. Got it fixed now. You're one of those guys like, oh my God, that wasn't me. That's somebody else. Who's listening to that garbage? If they didn't know it was from you, Tommy, as it trailed out with you. Crooked Commish saying, nah. He knows me as a Crooked Commish. He knows me as the CC, baby. No one knows my government name, says the Crooked Commish. I still get, it still trips me out whenever people call me by my government name, right? Like, I'm so used to either Tip or Tippy or Tipton or anything like that. Whenever someone calls me Michael, it feels wrong. It feels like I'm in trouble. Michael, what? All like, I think I was in like 4th grade whenever I realized that whenever they were calling Michael, they were calling me. Because everyone, even back then, used to just call me Tipton. All my teachers and stuff like that used to just call me Tipton. So I got so used to not having a first name. There were so many friends in high school that never called me by my first name that whenever they learned my first name was Michael, that was like, wow, you have a first name? People thought my first name was Tipton for such a long time. People thought my first name was Tipton. And it just kind of stuck. I say that all the time, like with my kids. At least they have cool names, right? Like Jericho and Jinder, they have cool names. So maybe people will call them on that. But I told them, as you get older, you might be Jericho, but then eventually it's going to turn into Tipton. And eventually it's going to turn into Tip. And you just got to go, or some variation of Tippy, Tip, Top, just whatever. Like the amount of variations that people have, the amount of nicknames I have is absolutely atrocious. My favorite one, though, is still Pimp Juice. Don't know how I got that one, but I was called that for about a good 4 years. Obviously, that was of a time. Tip Juice. That was over the line. I apologize, Roku. But watching the NBA yesterday, and I probably should have brought the clip in here, but you guys heard me on Cinco de Mayo. And this is, of course, where I say I'm different from a lot of the other shows that are out there. You heard me on Cinco de Mayo say, even though I saw the Cleveland Cavaliers lose game 1, on Cinco de Mayo I said they're going to come back, they're going to win this series. I'm not worried about the Indiana Pacers. I discounted the Pacers versus the Bucks, and I was wrong with that one too. I was wrong about the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers are a good team, much better than what I thought. And I thought, the way that they ended the season was a fluke. Nope, that's a good-ass team. I apologize to the Indiana Pacers fans that are out there. I was wrong. Again, how many sports people are you going to hear actually say, I was wrong? So as of right now, I am 0 for 1 in the NBA semifinal rounds of the Eastern and Western Conference. 0 for 1 in the second round of the playoffs. I am staring 0 for 4 right down the barrel. Right down the barrel. And I love basketball. I watch basketball way too damn much. I love basketball. And I like to feel like I know what I'm talking about. But this is proof, absolute proof, that no matter how much you may know, no matter how much you watch, anything can happen. And that's what I love about sports, man. Like, I wasn't watching that game yesterday seething, like, oh, they're going to prove me wrong. No, I'm glad they proved me wrong because it made such a great series. It's going to make for a great storyline if and when, because I don't think Boston's going to be able to pull it out without Jason Tatum, if and when the New York Knicks make it to the Eastern Conference Final. We'll have the Pacers and the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final. A throwback to those of us from a certain time. And the fact that there's actually some real beef there, or even if it's, contrived beef, there's something there. There's something there. It's going to be a nostalgia act. I get it. We're going to get just beat over the head with Reggie Miller made, this many shots. What was it? 9 points in 8 seconds or something like that Reggie Miller did. Like we're going to get beat over the head with that. But it's going to be fun. So I'm looking 0-2. Like I'm probably going to get my 0-2 later on today because I think that the game is later on today. The Knicks and the Celtics. Yeah, that's later on today. That game going to be on TNT. Let's come over here and check it out. Let's see if we can find the over-under. Find the odds here on who Vegas thinks is going to win this matchup. I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if they gave Boston any chance, missing Jason Tatum. How? Just how? Looking at ESPN Bet, the Boston Celtics are a 4.5-point favorite at home over the New York Knicks without Jason Tatum. This is where I tell you guys, I wish Texas had more availability for sports gambling because I am hammering the New York Knicks on this. I'm not just to cover, but I'm putting my money on the money line for the Knicks to win this damn game. There's no way, none, that the Boston Celtics are winning this game without Jason Tatum. We've seen this team fully loaded, no injuries on this team, choke away lead after lead to the New York Knicks. Now you don't have Jason Tatum, who had 42 points before he got hurt and ruptured his Achilles. Hopefully he returns soon. Now you don't have him, and somehow you're favored because you're at home? Give me a break. I'm hammering. I am going to bet US. I also have to check in on that. Everyone keeps saying it's bet us, but I think it's bet US. Well, I'm not too sure. I'm going to bet US. As you can see the little promo in the corner over here. Right there. I'm going to go to bet US, and I am hammering the Knicks on this one. And I will be loud wrong tomorrow because of somehow, some way, karma's going to get me, and the Boston Celtics are going to win that game. I just don't see it happening. I just can't see it happening. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm an a-hole. I think we can take the maybe out of that. I am an a-hole. There's no Jason Tatum there. There's no one that you fear in that matchup. In the next game, you have the Golden State Warriors taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. That game is going to be in Minnesota. The Timberwolves are a 10.5-point favorite. Everything in that game surrounds whether or not Steph Curry is going to come back. Everything right now is pointing that Steph Curry is not going to come back, that Steph Curry isn't going to be able to be back until Game 6. But I feel like you can't, if you're Steph Curry, you cannot sit on the sideline in a Game 5, a possible elimination game, and hope that your team wins. You've been disappointed by Jimmy Butler, who is supposed to come over and be the guy to help get you there, just in case there was some injury that might have happened. Jimmy Butler was supposed to be that guy to help out this franchise, and he just didn't. Jimmy Butler goes over to Golden State, has no worries because he gets to be what he is, which is a number 2. As soon as Steph Curry gets hurt, you get Jimmy Butler to help bridge the gap of these times. And because Jimmy Butler isn't the player that he used to be, and because he seems so timid and wanting to get his own shot, he's playing like he did at the end in Miami, where he just doesn't care. And that's always the problem with Jimmy Butler, is he just doesn't care. Maybe it's because I was disappointed. Maybe I expected more. Maybe I wanted more from Jimmy Butler in this case, because I thought that it was going to be enough. All you had to do was win one. All you had to do was win one out of the last 3 games. That's all you had to do. And Jimmy Butler wasn't able to get that done for the Golden State Warriors. If you're Steph Curry, you cannot sit on the sideline in Game 5 and watch your team potentially lose a season-ending game. Like, Steph Curry has to come back tonight. He has to come back. And it's ultimately going to hurt the team in the long run if he's not completely healed. But again, 70, 80% of Steph Curry is better than 0% of Steph Curry not being out there. So you have to risk it. There's no way, none. Unless the Warriors are waving the white flag already. There's no way that you have Steph Curry on the bench for this game. Just absolutely no way. It all depends on who you're going to take. I guess as we get closer to the game, we'll figure out who's it going to be. But I am going to take the Golden State Warriors to cover that 10.5-point spread. If they lose this game without Steph Curry, it's going to be a close game. I'm expecting to see maybe a version of Jimmy Butler that we just haven't seen. I'm expecting to see that. Maybe we get some version of Jimmy Butler that I said might be there whenever this series started and Steph Curry got hurt in game 1. I am hoping against all hope that maybe, just maybe, we might be able to get something out of Jimmy Butler. I also sincerely doubt it. Man. So we recapped Indiana beating Cleveland. Cleveland actually had a double-digit lead in that game. Cleveland had a double-digit lead in that game early on, going into the second quarter, halfway through the second quarter. And then somehow, some way, Indiana just decides, oh, yeah, by the way, we're playing this game. Let's get that done. Then in the next game, you had Denver versus Oklahoma City. And I'm surprised that Augustine isn't here right now to kind of talk crap about Nikola Jokic and the Golden State Warriors, and the Denver Nuggets, rather. But it wasn't on Jokic that the Warriors that the Nuggets lost this game. It wasn't on Jokic. 44 minutes, 44 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Like, he did his job. You got 28 points from Jamal Murray. He did his job. Aaron Gordon got you 13, so maybe you wanted a little bit more there. The bench was shortened up. You had Peyton Watson. Russell Westbrook got 20 minutes in the game. 4 points from Russell Westbrook, going 1 of 7 from the field. 1 of 7 from the field from Russell Westbrook. 0 for 3 from three-point land for Russell Westbrook. It wasn't on the Nikola Jokic for losing this game. He did exactly what he needed to do. It was the whole rest of the team that wasn't doing it. And then you got 31 for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the other side with Oklahoma City. There was such balance with Oklahoma City. 6 guys in double digits. 23 assists on 35 field goals, or on 41 field goals. That means they're moving the ball around. It was a lot of ball movement. You weren't getting that from the Nuggets. And this was what was frustrating me yesterday watching that game. Because, again, I stayed up late to watch this game, and I watched with a quiet passion. I will say, oh my, once in a while. But I'm watching this game, and I'm watching the Denver Nuggets bring the ball up court. They have a lead, and they're just jacking up threes. Just jacking up threes. Instead of working the clock, getting to the bucket, and doing, the basic stuff that you see out of basketball. Tommy Canazza saying, I can't wait till this time next year. We'll be talking about Cooper Flag, AD, and Kyrie leading the Mavs to the Western Conference Finals. Let's go. Tommy Canazza back in on basketball. I love to see it. I can't wait till the Mavericks trade that pick to the NFL. I don't think Nico's going to mess that pick up, Tommy. I'm not putting it out there. I don't think Nico's going to mess that pick up. He should, for all intents and purposes, draft Cooper Flag. That should be the guy that he goes out and drafts, is Cooper Flag. Tommy Canazza calling me an a-hole. I mean, they make trades. They make dumb trades. We've seen it. There's always that small percent now, right? That's all it takes. Someone does you wrong one time. That's always in the back of your mind that it could be done again. It's always there. It's always there, Tommy. It's always going to be there with Nico Harrison. I'm not going to say the Denver Nuggets are in trouble right now. I think they go back to Denver in a couple of days. I want to say it's next week, right? Or no, not today. It's going to be on Thursday that they'll be playing in Denver, and they'll more than likely get the win in Denver, right? Like I said, I feel like this series is going to go 7 games. But if it doesn't go the 7 games, it's going to be because the rest of the Denver Nuggets didn't do what they needed to do to help out Nikola Jokic. Jokic has been playing his ass off. Like Jokic was 17 of 25 yesterday, 5 of 7 from 3. He hit a 3-pointer at the end of the game that no one his size should be able to do. It was like a spin around 360 fading away 3-pointer that Nikola Jokic hit yesterday that a guy that big should never be able to pull off. A loaf of bread shouldn't be able to move that way. And yet Nikola Jokic was absolutely moving that way. Tommy Canazza saying it's always, it's in the back of my mind. Not going to lie. I won't feel safe until that idiot is fired. I'm telling you, man, they make a deep playoff run next season with Cooper Flag, AD, and Kyrie. And you were talking about Nico Harrison being there another decade because it would be right, especially if they go further than the LA Lakers. Especially if they go further than the LA Lakers and the Lakers just look bad because they don't have the ability to fix this team. If Nico Harrison finds a way to make a deep playoff run next year, going further than the Lakers, or even better, beating the Lakers head-to-head in the playoffs, he will be there for another decade, at least, at minimum. He'll be able to leave on his terms. What if Nico, Tommy, I'll ask you this. What if Nico initiated the breakup? What if Nico said, I want to go somewhere else because I deserve better? What if we lived in that bizarro world? I told you, MFers, that Luka Doncic was a fat piece of crap. And now look at you. Now look at you. Tommy Canazza says, I don't care what happens in the future. He's still a moron who traded for Luka. He's still the moron that traded Luka. I got nothing back in return. Mikal Bridges got 5 number 1 first-round picks. Mikal Bridges got 5 first-round picks for the New York Knicks. Luka Doncic couldn't get you that? Luka couldn't get you that? We're going to see what happens with Giannis Antetokounmpo, what he gets traded with. And like I said, I believe it's either the Spurs and the Rockets that are in the driver's seat right now. I don't see a scenario where Dallas trades the number 1 overall pick to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Tommy, I'd like to get your thoughts on that. What if they traded to get Giannis Antetokounmpo and you team him up with AD and Kyrie? You got the Greek Freak. Thanasis has to be a part of the trade as well. But if you made the trade to get the Antetokounmpo brothers, but you traded away that number one overall pick, would you be okay with that? Or is it Cooper Flag and nothing else? Tommy's saying Giannis will be a Spur or a Rocket, and then no, we are not trading that number 1 overall pick to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. And that's what I'm going with, right? Like, I think if you are, it's got to be those 2 teams, right? It's got to be between San Antonio and Houston. And I believe San Antonio having more draft picks is what kind of gives them the edge. Now, if Milwaukee wants players, then I think, but if I'm Houston, I can't trade Sengun and Jalen Green, which is what some people were talking about yesterday. I can't trade the 2 of those players and expect my team to be as good because those guys were huge contributors to this team. Tommy Canasta saying, we captured the flag. We're staying the course. We captured the flag. We're staying the course. It's going to be interesting. Like this NBA offseason is already playing out to be an interesting one because you have Kevin Durant that's out there. You have Giannis Antetokounmpo that's out there. Like there's still the possibilities of some major free agents that are going to be out there as well. The Boston Celtics more than likely going to blow up that lineup. That's what's been out there for the last few months, that the Celtics cannot run it back this way because new ownership doesn't want to pay into the second apron of the luxury tax. And then, of course, what the Dallas Mavericks are going to do with that number 1 overall pick. I really hope it's Cooper Flagg. But in the back of my mind, there's always that small possibility now of Nico Harrison is going to find some way to mess this all up. All right, everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning into today's show. Remember, Fire and Ice on Saturday at Buffalo Wild Wings each and every Saturday at noon. We will be there this week, and hopefully you can be there with us as well. And we will see you all, as Tommy is saying here, Flagg plays KD's spot, correct? Yes, he does. Flagg is a stretch 4 and a 5. So he will be all over that 4 or 5 spot there. So there you go. Cooper Flagg, versatile, able to do all kinds of stuff. We'll see you all tomorrow. This is Mike Tipton from Tipton Sports Broadcasting, inviting you to join us on Tuesday, June 10th at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso for all-you-can-eat wings. As a big fat guy, you know I'm going to be stuffing my face, so why not join me and Brandon the Iceman Cone for all-you-can-eat wings? Be sure to tune in to Fire and Ice every Saturday as we talk sports or anything else that might come to mind. At B-Dubs, enjoy the $4 house beer Wild Herd, $5 Bud Lights, and $6 Voodoo Rangers. And take advantage of their $4 Fireball shots.
Fireball.
Happy hour is Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Be sure to try the delicious new sandwiches like the beer cheese, cheesesteak, and chicken parm melt. Plus, all-you-can-eat wings Monday through Thursday until June 26th. $24.99 for bone-in wings, $19.99 for boneless wings, and the fries are included. All you can eat bone-in and boneless wings Monday through Thursday, and Fire and Ice every Saturday at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive.